3 weeks ago today, George Floyd died at the hands of police in Minneapolis. His death has rocked the world ever since, with protests sweeping across the nation and beyond. Millions demanding police reform and some asking for cuts to police funding. From police stations to major corporations to newsrooms like our very own, a racial reckoning of sorts. And tonight, a fourth straight week of demonstrations continue, demanding change. And now a new call, justice for Rayshard Brooks. Brooks was shot Friday by a white police officer in Atlanta, and that immediately sparked reforms within the police department, along with the resignation of the police chief. Tonight, his family is searching for answers, and they say that the trust that they had with police is now shattered for good. Our Steve Osunsami leads us off from Atlanta.
The anger is growing tonight over this video showing the end of another black man's life at the hands of police. This time in the parking lot of an Atlanta fast food restaurant. And investigators tonight are studying every frame, trying to determine if the shooting death of 27-year-old Rayshard Brooks was justified.
Y'all took my cousin from me. Y'all took the wrong person.
His family, planning his funeral tonight, says no.
How many more protests will it take to ensure that the next victim isn't your cousin, your brother, your uncle, your nephew, your friend, or your companion, so that we can finally end the suffering of police excessive force? We are tired. Guys, we're tired. And we are frustrated. Most importantly, we're heartbroken.
Just after 10:30 Friday night, someone called Atlanta police.
I think he's intoxicated. He's in the middle of my drive-thru. I tried to wake him up.
Brooks was asleep at the wheel in the middle of the drive-thru.
Hey.
Copy 41 engine.
Sir.
25 westbound at Jones.
What's up, man?
25 westbound.
Hey, you're parked in the drive-thru right now. Hey, sir. All right, you good?
Yeah.
Officer Devin Brosnan wakes him up. Brooks then pulls into a parking spot.
Well, you say one drink. What kind of drink was it?
We just wanted a little margarita.
Officer Garrett Rolfe arrives. He gives Brooks a field sobriety test and a breathalyzer.
Put your mouth over the mouthpiece, pull as hard as you can until I tell you to stop.
.108, just above the legal limit. For more than 20 minutes, things stay calm.
What are you here for a visit, or what's
I'm visiting.
Where are you visiting?
My mother's gravesite.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
How long has she passed for?
It's been probably about a year and a half now, but...
Okay, I'm sorry to hear that.
At one point, he asks if they'll just take him home.
Take me home. I'm ready to go.
But when they try to put him in handcuffs, he refuses. It gets seriously physical, and while they're fighting, Brooks grabs the stun gun of one of the officers.
You're gonna get tased! You're gonna get tased!
And here is the moment of intense debate tonight. As Brooks is running away, he is seen reaching back with the stun gun and pointing it at Officer Rolfe, who fires 3 shots. 2 of them hit Brooks in the back and were enough to kill him.
No, there's no justice that can ever make me feel happy about what's been done. I can never get my husband back. I can never get my best friend. I can never tell my daughter, oh, he's coming to take you skating or swimming lessons. It's just going to be a long time before I heal. It's going to be a long time before this family heals.
Protesters who were already in the streets calling for justice for George Floyd were now at this Wendy's shouting the name of Rayshard Brooks, and then someone burned the restaurant to the ground. Police are sharing these photos of a woman in a black mask and offering a $10,000 reward. Officer Rolfe has been fired. The other officer put on administrative leave. The police chief resigned. And now the county prosecutor is deciding if there will be criminal charges.
So what we have to decide is, based upon the prevailing law in this country and in our state, is whether or not, at the time that shot was fired, whether or not it was done to save the life of that officer. That officer was firing that shot because he felt that he was in imminent danger, or whether or not it was for some other reason.
The president tonight offered his thoughts.
I thought it was a terrible, I'm not going to compare things, but I thought it was a terrible situation.
Atlanta's mayor tonight is ordering a list of new work rules, including mandatory de-escalation techniques for her police officers.
I'm also requiring de-escalation generally and specifically prior to the use of deadly force, in accordance with the principle that officers should use de-escalation techniques to gain voluntary compliance and avoid or minimize the use of physical force. It pissed me off, it makes me sad, and I'm frustrated. And nothing I can do is going to change what happened on Friday.
Steve Osunsami joins us now live from Atlanta. We're hearing that this latest investigation is creating turmoil inside the Atlanta Police Department. What can you tell us about that and also possible charges in this case?
Well, we're told that charges, if they happen, will be announced later this week by the district attorney. That's when he's promising them. In terms of the turmoil in the Atlanta Police Department, this has been tough, not just on the family of the victim, but also on local police. We are learning that 19 police officers have quit the job in the last 10 days. We're told that morale is at an all-time low. Lindsay?
And Steve, just give us a scene setter there, because we hear some shouting. What's going on behind you?
So right now there are probably about 200 people who are behind me at this memorial. This is the Wendy's where this killing happened, in this parking lot. It is burned out. There are people who are protesting, demonstrating. It's fairly peaceful. There have been no incidents here. There was a guy playing music, and people have been here in and out all day, and they will continue to be here through the night. It is a memorial for this young man who was killed, and also, unfortunately for police, a symbol of the unrest and lack of support that they have from city leaders.
And also, before you go, Steve, just want to take a step back and look at another case. During the height of the protest, 2 officers were charged after the incident where the college students a taser was used. How could that case impact the prosecution on the Brooks incident?
You know, that is a really good question. That case could play a big role in this incident, and the reason why is because when the Fulton County DA, the same district attorney in this case, when he charged those officers, one of the big issues was that the officers used a taser on those 2 students, and he at the time, and I'm quoting, said that he said, as many of you all know, under Georgia law, a taser is considered a deadly weapon. Well, if a taser is considered a deadly weapon under Georgia law in that incident, then in the hands of the man who was killed here, there are some who are arguing that it has to be considered a deadly weapon here as well. And so it may not make sense to charge the officers if you see him, in fact, on tape pointing the taser at the officers directly before he is shot. Lindsay?
Really interesting debate there. Okay, Steve Osunsami, thanks so much for your reporting.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.